Welcome to The Vault. Tune in every week to unlock the marketing secrets of some of the fastest growing businesses. You'll hear practical tips, strategies, and case studies that will help you build incredible marketing campaigns for your business. And now, here's your host, Stacey Kehoe.
Andy Gwynn is considered as one of the most sought-after LinkedIn trainers and coaches in the UK. He's a leading business coach, speaker, and author who has coached hundreds of business owners and corporate directors to greater profitability, more free time, and successful relationships across their business and personal lives. He has addressed audiences such as the Institute of Directors and international audiences throughout Europe and as far afield as the USA and New Zealand. He has spoken alongside Brad Sugars, Keith Cunningham, Jeffrey Gitomer, and Paddi Lund. He's helped hundreds of businesses to generate sales through their use of LinkedIn and is now recruiting franchisees to become world-famous LinkedIn and social media trainers and coaches. So let's unlock the vault and listen to Andy Gwynn teach us some of LinkedIn's best-kept secrets and how we can begin to generate leads via LinkedIn. Hello and welcome to the Vault podcast, Andy. I'm so happy to have you here.
Oh, you're welcome, Stacey. I've been looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Well, I'd like to kick things off by you introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your background and how you got in to become this LinkedIn professional trainer.
Thank you for that, because I'm quite sort of proud of it in a way. My background is business coaching. So for 15 years, I was coaching business owners, SME business owners, on how to build businesses. And my background prior to that was sales. And of course, a big part of growing business is marketing and sales. And marketing's changed. When I set up my coaching practice in 2003, there was no digital marketing. And about 6 years ago, I was on LinkedIn from day one, but just because someone said I should be, and just accepting connections from people around the world that were in the same franchise business that I was. And about 6 years ago, I stopped and looked at LinkedIn, and I found and got to a conversation with a corporate decision maker within a working day in a way I'd never been able to do before. And it just suddenly changed the way I marketed, that there was no more cold calling, there was no more getting past gatekeepers or receptionists. And it revolutionized the way I generated leads. So as a business coach, I started teaching my clients to do the same. And then really it morphed and became more profitable than my business coaching because it was easier to sell. There's so much demand. And it was easier to help clients get results very quickly. And most, certainly SME business owners, although I'm doing a lot in the corporate markets now with sales teams and management teams as well, everyone's on LinkedIn. We can talk, I'm sure, about LinkedIn and the numbers and where it's gone from. And my background was business development. My background was professional training and coaching. And I was able to bring all three of those into showing people how to use LinkedIn. Because it's not really about a technical platform. It's about how to use it to utilize and get results. So I do believe I've got a relatively unique blend of professional trainer, business coach, and marketeer stroke business development background.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I wanted to ask a question actually about before LinkedIn. So I kind of take this back a little bit. Before you got into delivering this service, how were you sourcing leads before that in your old business? Was it giving people like cold calling over the phone or networking meetings, or how were you meeting people prior to that?
I was with a global franchise called Action Coach. And one of the things we teach business owners is you should have multiple marketing streams in your business. And the theory behind it is if all my lead generation was outsourcing telemarketing and my telemarketer went off sick, I have no lead generation. If all my lead generation is email marketing and my internet goes down, I'm scuppered. So it's about having multiple marketing streams that you can turn up and down and measure across them all. So I was doing a mix. I've been doing things like direct mail into seminar. I've done cold telemarketing. I used to do a lot of networking. I do believe speaking's a powerful marketing strategy. I know that's how you and I first met when I was speaking at an event. I've employed salespeople, a lot of email marketing, and some direct marketing a long time ago. So a whole range of different marketing strategies. And now, of course, you've got all of the different social media platforms that you need to decide which work for you. So it's about Yeah, it's got to be a mix. So I was doing a whole load of different things.
Yeah, I think that's great. I like that you've mentioned that, because it is obviously with any kind of approach to growing a business, having sources or leads that are coming in from multiple different sources, I think is really important. And often it's something that business owners can forget, because once you find something that works, a strategy that works really well, it's easy to kind of forget about all those other sources and just focus on that one thing that's really working well, which when things are going great and that particular source is generating a lot of leads, it's all fantastic and, there's nothing better. But like you've just mentioned, there are so many things that can go wrong and things that shift and things that change that you do need to make sure that you've sort of got these multiple forms. So that's great. Thank you for mentioning that. I'm glad that we kind of jumped back and just looked at all the different forms of ways that you were generating leads before. So we're working as a coach. Obviously kind of worked through LinkedIn, managed to get in front of that. What was the name of the person that you generated through LinkedIn was a contact that you would never have got through had you called this corporate agency. This is someone that you managed to get in contact with through, well, I don't want to say snooping through LinkedIn, but using the resources that LinkedIn provide you to actually to find the right person to speak to. Is that right?
Oh, big time. I mean, I was doing a lot of cold calling, and there's still a merit for it. But first of all, most people are not very good at that. Secondly, it can be demoralizing. Thirdly, I'm not sure it's time effective, the amount of people you've got to get to or dials you've got to make in order to speak to somebody. So I wanted to get to the national training manager of a PLC in the UK. And I found the company on LinkedIn. And then I was able to go through that, finding my way around. Now I know how to do it quickly and easily and can show people how to do it. I found the national training manager. I connected with him on LinkedIn, and we'll come on to how best to do it. It's about connecting in the right way. And I said to him, I'd like to, hope we could connect. He came straight back and accepted. And this shows you how much people are active on LinkedIn. But I immediately went back to him and said, thank you. I'm just wondering if you'd be interested in looking at how I might be able to help you to help your sales teams achieve more. And that's gold dust, because sales is all about helping. And he came straight back and said, I'd love to. Here's my mobile number. Call me tomorrow at 10 o'clock. That's how much I remember the conversation from 6 years ago. And so within a matter of 2 hours, I found and connected with a decision maker. Within one working day, I've got his permission to call his mobile number. And I just sat there and went, I used to run national sales teams 20 years ago. And I thought, if I'd have had this back then, it would have leveraged so much time. Suddenly overnight, no more cold calling. Every single conversation I've had since in 6 years is with permission. No more trying to get past gatekeepers. It's just transformed the way that I generated leads in my business and helped clients to do the same.
I love that. That's excellent. So before we get into how to start connecting with people and how to leverage LinkedIn as a marketing tool, what are some of the basic things that we should have in place? Let's say we've got a LinkedIn profile, we've maybe had it for a few years, but set it up and then left it and never did anything with it. What are some of the first steps that I might take if I'm planning to use LinkedIn as a marketing tool?
I think just before touching into that, it's probably worthwhile people understanding why they should be engaging even more with it. There is now something like 25 million profiles just in the UK, which tells me that most of the working population are on it. And if you're selling business to business or business to professional, it unequivocally should be the route people are using for most effect and to leverage their time. LinkedIn was set up for people just to share their network on this electronic platform. That was, 15 years ago. It is now the most powerful marketing and sales tool to find, connect, and engage with anybody in the world from your desktop, from your phone rapidly. And what I believe is more and more people are on LinkedIn. But what I've also seen in the last couple of years only is a spike of more and more people being active on it. So people have now realized that I'm on it. People are checking you out. People are not only searching for you, but they find you from what I call surfing. LinkedIn is magic at suggesting people you may know, people that other people have seen. People are popping up all over the place, and people will check you out. I've got MDs and buyers that say, if you're not on LinkedIn or you don't even have a photograph, I won't engage with you. And actually, as salespeople, which as a business owner we are, as a salesperson, we need to create rapport. But as a salesperson, we're at a sort of less of an advantage than we were historically. As a buyer, your clients are more educated than they've ever been in the history. In the way you are when you go to buy something, they can find everything they want right now. I just had a lady contact me, can you help me with LinkedIn? I said, yeah, sure. How did you find me? She said, I searched on LinkedIn. Well, I went to buy a car last year, and I knew what make, model, color, engine size, performance, trim, everything I wanted. The poor salesperson, all they could do was help me with price and delivery time. They can't sell me anything because I'm educated. So your clients, your prospects are checking you out before you even walk through their door. And of course, the quickest way is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is no longer, people confused it way back with a sort of a CV. It is not. It's like a web page. It's like a landing page. It's a profile that is your marketing and sales tool. So you're absolutely right. Your first thing is it's a personal profile. There's two sides to LinkedIn. One is your profile, and it has to do three things in my book. It has to get found. It has to give value to the reader, because we're in the age where people want information and value. You've got to educate your clients what they need to know about buying widgets, the pitfalls of buying widgets, how they can use their widgets better, so that you give them value. So not corporate brochures, but your profile has to get found, give value to the reader, and then prove your credibility, because all of us have competition. Why should I talk to you? Why should I engage with you? Why should I contact or buy from you? The second part of the glue is your strategy. What do you then do to do three things? To go and find, connect, and engage in the right way with your ideal contact. I say contact. For a lot of us running businesses, it's sales prospects. I do a lot of work with property investors. Their contacts could be financiers, vendors, lawyers, tradesmen, all sorts of people, whoever it might be. There's no point going to find, connect, and engage with those people if when you look at your profile, you lose them because your profile's not powerful. So you said to me, what's the key things we could do with the profile? Well, that's a great question. I've got a document and it is on my profile. And if you like, Tracy, Stacey, I can send it out to you to send to your clients if you want.
Yeah, we can link to that in the show notes. That sounds great.
Cool. It's the 9 points to creating a powerful personal profile. First of all, it is personal. I've just challenged 3 people who have connected with me who they've just got a company logo. There's company pages for that. This is a profile. Your profile's got to say what you do for people, not what you do. MD of ABC Limited doesn't tell me what you do for me. Helping me save money, get a car, get a more comfortable car, get more time off, have a healthier lifestyle, whatever it is you do for me. It needs to be written from a marketing and sales perspective of WIFM. What's in it for me? Put yourself in the reader's shoes and ask yourself, what's in it for me? And most people just do not understand the concept of marketing speak, if you like. They're too busy talking about them. I do this, I do that, I do the other. I've seen one just this afternoon that's written in the third party. Andy created this. Andy's got 20 years experience of this. You don't care that I've been a business coach for 15 years. You care that I can show you how to get sales within the next 30 days, or how I can help you increase your conversion rate or your lead generation of this. So your profile needs to be full of that value. And I think it needs to be written in the first person. You definitely need a photo, head and shoulders shot, not a picture of, I was going to say you with your best man, not a picture of you with your bridesmaid, because I don't know who it is that I'm talking to. Not a picture of you sat outside your tent at Glastonbury, like an accountant client of mine. And when I said to her, is that how your clients expect to see you? She was mortified. This can be simple. I think the challenge I see with a lot of people, they think, first of all, common sense isn't that common. So it's about stopping and thinking about what you do with it. And I get a lot of clients go, blimey, now you've told me it's not rocket science. No, it isn't. It's about learning how to market. But also, it is about keeping it simple. People don't stop and think about the perspective. And also, when I work with people on LinkedIn, I talk about where else can you apply this in the rest of your business. And the photograph is a simple thing, because in my sales process, I will send out 2 or 3 touch points of communication before I walk through the door to meet people. Most people just email a confirmation saying, looking forward to seeing you next week, Stacey, and then they bowl up, probably late. I'll connect with you on LinkedIn, probably done that before, you've now seen my photo. I'll send an email confirmation with some information that's relevant to our meeting and what you're looking for. My emails have got my photos on, my business cards have got my photos on. So by the time I walk through the door, there's an element of rapport already. Why would I spend the first 30 minutes trying to get you to like me and trust me when I can do that before I walk through the door? So this isn't just about LinkedIn. This is about how LinkedIn fits in with your marketing strategy and also your sales process. So it is definitely worth time creating a powerful profile. You want to write your summary that tells people what you do for them, and tell people the type of people you're looking to work for. your headline underneath your photo is powerful like any marketing piece. You work with your clients on email headlines, on direct mail headlines, newspaper headlines, whatever it might be. The moment my client's headline got changed to helping the people of Gloucestershire alleviate back pain, she got more inbound inquiries because it said what she did to her audience.
How she's going to solve a problem for her ideal prospects or contacts, as you would say. That's great. I think there's a couple of things there, like, there's a lot of stuff there that I could dig into, but I think especially what I really liked was having a really appealing photo versus a logo. It's one of my pet peeves on LinkedIn is when I see a logo in the space of a person, I'm like, who is this? I have no idea who it is. It actually looks a little bit spammy to me. I just think, who is this person that's trying to connect with me? I actually don't connect with anybody that has a logo as a profile picture. So it's great that you mentioned that. I think also the summary in terms of, I mean, oh God, I would hate to read a profile where it is written in third person because I feel the same. I think it's really about who is this person that I'm connecting with? What do they do and how can they help me? I think is really powerful. So explaining, I guess, the outcome or the things that you're able to do rather than making it like a CV is really, really, really good advice. One question that kind of popped up, well, a couple of questions. One, maybe if I stick for profile for now, what kind of advice would you give someone when you have a team? So for example, for me in my agency, we've got obviously a team of full-time staff and we also have a lot of freelancers. So for example, if I've got sort of about 20 of us that work within our agency, what kind of things would you do in terms of branding across a team? Say, for example, I'm going to a meeting with a potential prospect. They're going to check me out on LinkedIn. They're potentially going to check out my company and then maybe even some of the other people that are working for my company. So I would presume that it's important for our entire team to have profiles that all make sense and kind of link with each other. But then at the same time, we're all individual people. So how do we make sense of that?
Yeah, it's a great question, a great point. So, and I'm working with a company at the moment. I've just been in-house for the day to train their team, the sales team, the internal customer service team, and the management team. To keep it simple, if you're right, someone could then drill down into your company page, see your other team members that are connected to that company page, and maybe check them out. I'm not sure that will happen on a mass scale, but certainly where there's other internal salespeople or customer service people, then yeah, your prospects might be landing on their profiles and checking them out. So at the very least, if someone has to communicate with someone outside of the organization, then they ought to be utilizing LinkedIn. So when I've got a tool room manager in the bowels of the tool room at a big organization, he probably doesn't need LinkedIn. But certainly the people you're talking about, it's relevant. So simple thing is, yeah, first of all, the banner at the top. I have a few rules. LinkedIn is huge. LinkedIn constantly changes. There is stuff they've done recently. I don't think it's particularly advantageous. But my golden rule number one is it's there. It is what it is. If you're the type of person that beats yourself up or criticizes it, it'll drive you mad. If you work with me, let's keep an open mind and make it work for us. Second point is the functions are there, whether we like some of the functionality or not. And we can talk about endorsements. People don't like those because people endorse me for stuff they don't even know me for. And it's all wrong. Yes, it is. But the function is there. So let's use it. So the banner at the very top, why wouldn't you? I don't want to miss opportunities. So why wouldn't I create a banner that grabs attention and maybe says what I do on the tin? It could be a corporate logo. It could be something. And therefore, you can standardize that across the team. So you've got a bit of a corporate image. And yeah, it probably wants to be written in the same way. I get asked about individuals. So about, well, how should I write my profile? Because I'm the PA to the MD. Do I write about my role as the PA? No, not necessarily. Write about what the business does. You might touch on what you do as role of the PA, but you're really looking to represent the business. You can go and change it if you need to be looking for a job. You can go and change it if your role changes. That's the beauty of this. But it's about what, I suppose the question is, who do you want to connect with? And therefore, what do you want to say to them about how you can help them? So, yeah, sure, my purchasing manager might write something different on his profile than my internal customer service manager. But they're still coming at it from their role, from the business. But definitely you can standardize the format. Certainly the logo at the top of the profile should be standardized. The photos, absolutely. I've had team photographers go in and photograph the whole team. So you've got the same type of look on the photo. I suggest shoulders on a plain background. You want to get really psychological, you should be facing slightly into your profile to drag your reader's eye onto the page. It's minutiae, but yes, certainly standardize it. 80-20 rule, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you want to represent the business and the company.
The other thing that you mentioned there, which I'll dig into maybe before you continue with some of your advice, is you mentioned one of the most important things is getting found. So what should I be doing? Is that in terms of when somebody is searching for something on LinkedIn that my profile is popping up? And if so, what are some of the things that I can be doing to ensure that I do get found by my ideal prospects?
I think, first of all, I said that I've just been found, someone's contacted me. I'm not using LinkedIn to rely on inbound. When it happens, it's nice. It's the icing on the cake. The 80-20 rule says 90% of what I'm doing is I'm going to find, connect, and engage with the people I want to get to, like that corporate training manager I mentioned earlier. But again, why would you miss an opportunity? You want to write the profile so that it includes the search terms you want to be found for. But I'm absolutely against the old thing way back of just listing a bunch of search terms for SEO to pick up, because my overrider is it's a personal profile. I don't want to write it in corporate speak. My brother's a commercial property lawyer for a big PLC. He talks in commercial speak and legal speak. It's a nightmare. I want you to write if it's you. But mention the search terms you want to get found for. So on my profile, it talks about professional keynote speaking. It talks about LinkedIn training and social media marketing and that sort of thing. One tip you can do I mentioned endorsements. And a lot of people don't value endorsements, and I don't particularly, because I think it goes back to the old days when LinkedIn was it was a sort of profile, it was a sort of CV. But my rule is it's there, let's make it work. So actually think about the skills, rather than skills that you might think you've got, think of search terms you want to get found for. So an MD might have a skill of leadership, but he might actually want to be found for yellow widgets. So put yellow widgets in there as a search term and get people endorsing you for the supply of yellow widgets. So there's no rules. I've made these up because it just serves me. So I think what you've got to do is you've certainly got to write about what you do. I think people will find you from searching. Remember, I said I think more people find you from surfing. And actually, 80% of what I'm using LinkedIn for is for me to go out there and find, connect, and engage with my audience.
So maybe take us onto that a little bit. What happens once we've got our profile where we want it to be? We've kind of embedded some of the search terms that we potentially want to be found for. What's our next move?
There's more stuff to do on the profile around building value and credibility that I talked about. There's nothing stopping you still connecting and engaging. And I hear two things. LinkedIn, it's just an online CV. Well, hopefully we've put that to bed. But the other thing is, LinkedIn, people are just on there trying to sell to me. Yes, they are, and they're doing it wrong. I've just had the other extreme where I've had someone today say, we've been given so much conflicting advice. We've had a lot of LinkedIn people saying, this is a slow networking relationship building process. You should be messaging people 10 times and building relationships. I don't agree, because I think any marketing is about qualifying and or disqualifying people into a conversation with you. So if I'm engaging with someone, I need to know whether there's a need. Hey, this is what I do. Are you interested? Do you have a need for XYZ? I used to sell safety footwear. Do you buy safety footwear? Well, yes, I do, but I'm locked into a 3-year contract. Fine, there's no point in me messaging for 10 messages trying to build a relationship. I believe it's about how we find, connect, and engage in the right way. So there's a brilliant search function on LinkedIn. You can play around with the search. Now, a year ago, I would have said to people, you don't necessarily need, if you're new into this, you don't necessarily need premiums and upgrade. LinkedIn are making some changes. I've noticed a lot of activity just in the last few months and they've done this with a client of mine. She was brand new to LinkedIn, virtually no connections. A property investor started connecting with 10, 20, 30 people a day. It's fine. But LinkedIn flagged that increased activity from almost zero to consistent. Messaged her and said, you're clearly a business. You're not a student. So you should be upgrading to premium or sales navigator. So they're clearly trying to sell more subscriptions. And I understand that. I get a few smaller business owners moaning about it. And I say, look, I pay for my CRM system. I pay to join networking events. I pay for direct mail. I pay for email blasts. I pay for SEO. It's part of my marketing spend to pay for LinkedIn Premium. I recommend now that if you're going to be using this daily, which you should, If you're in a B2B environment, it's part of your marketing investment.
Yeah, I think obviously there's a difference between premium and Sales Navigator, but I think the premium is about £30 or £35 or something a month, isn't it?
Yeah, there's an extra $20 odd for the one to the other. I use Sales Nav because the search criteria is far better. I can search for managing directors in Birmingham of businesses with 1 to 50 employees and people that have been active on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. And that for me is gold dust with Sales Nav. Now, I don't use anything else with Sales Nav because I have some automated software that will go out and connect with people, send messages, personalize it, stop if someone's inbound. It leverages my time because the challenge you have is to go and connect with your ideal target. Most businesses, as you know, have got to go and talk to a lot of people to find the ones that say, yeah, I'm interested in talking to you. You know, if you're selling insurance, you've got to talk to a lot of people. No, I'm not interested for another 6 months, thanks. So we've all got to talk to lots of people to get the ones that go, yeah, I'm interested. And that becomes labor intensive with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is brilliant for getting to the people. So in answer to your question, you can search for them, you go connect with them, give them a reason to connect. Hey, Stacey, came across your profile, always looking to connect with passionate marketing consultants in the UK. What are you going to say? I'm not passionate. The fact that you've gone to the effort to create a profile and I've connected with you, there's a much higher engagement chance of you just clicking connect compared to email marketing. I'm not saying don't do email marketing. We said it's part of a mix. And then when someone's accepted, you've got to go and engage with them. Hey, Stacey, thanks for connecting. The reason I connected is I wondered if you'd be interested in talking about X, Y, and Z. Now, of course, you can help people. Of course, you can send them information. Of course, you can get. I'm big into the more you help someone, the more they'll want to help you or buy from you. And I want to qualify them fairly quickly. So by the time you do that, it can be a bit labor intensive. But before my automated software, and there's a bunch of softwares out there, this is unique. There is a risk element with all of the softwares, which if people want to talk to me about, I'm happy to. Before that, it was all manual, and it was still profitable. So it's about how you engage. Good example was somebody, again, only the other day, connected with me. As soon as I accepted, hey, 25% off your ink cartridges. I don't buy ink cartridges. Mainly my partner, my co-director, doesn't buy ink cartridges. My PA buys the ink cartridges. If you took the time to ask and be interested and seek to understand, I'd have probably referred you to her, but it's too late.
Yeah, you've gone in for the straight pitch. It's annoying, isn't it? So I guess that comes back to what you're talking about there, which is understanding really your audience and making sure that you're actually interacting with the right type of people.
I think, you know, marketing, there's two things really, isn't there? There's who are we getting to and what are we saying? So absolutely, you've got to get clear. And I know you work with clients on who's your ideal client, and you can use the search on LinkedIn to go to them. And then it's about what do you say? I've got sort of two types of people I'm working with. There's those that are at ground zero and don't really understand marketing, and I might coach them over 90 days with everything on LinkedIn. And then there's those that understand marketing. They understand a bit of the philosophy, psychology. They've got marketing strategies in place in their business. They know it's a part of, you know, it's about part of having a marketing campaign and marketing strategies. And I might work with them very quickly over a few weeks to get their profile powerful. And then we plug this automated software in that goes and connects and engages. You can send out messages to your existing contacts, can wish people congratulations on the job. You can put stuff out into groups. It's multifunctional. It's magic. And what I tend to do once they've set that up is have a couple of coaching calls after where they're going, will you help me critique what I'm saying, the messaging? Because I'm big into it's the power of what we say. I've never had anybody really kick back and complain much because I do believe it's about what we say to people. So back to if I was selling ink cartridges, I go, hey, thanks, Stacey, for connecting. The reason I connected is you'll probably see from my profile that we're experts in providing next day delivery on ink cartridges. I don't know whether that's something you're involved with or whether it's one of your colleagues. Whoever it is, I'd love to talk to them about how I could save them some money and free up some time. And then I get people come back and go, actually, yeah, I am. Or actually, no, it's my purchasing manager over there you need to. And also LinkedIn is about using it as part of the rest of the mix. I've rung somebody up and got the gatekeeper, and I said, I don't know whether you can help me. I said, but I've just sent a LinkedIn connection invite to Stacey, and I'm looking to send them some information. I wanted to send them some email the content in case they've not picked it up. And I just wondered if you might be able to give me their email address as well. And I've got, LinkedIn, hang on a second. Click, hello, this is Stacey. Now you've got to be prepared what to say on the telephone. But gatekeepers are in awe of it. because there's still mystical stuff. So it's about what you say. It's how you position it, what you say. So you want to be connecting with people. The other big thing I hear, and I get it a lot from marketing managers, is, oh yeah, we're posting posts. LinkedIn have changed stuff lately.
They have. Yeah, talk to us a little bit about this, because there's been loads of changes around posts recently, hasn't there?
Yeah, I don't put a lot of value on posts for LinkedIn. Now, you can use your posts elsewhere with Twitter and Facebook and everything else as well. So it's part of the mix. And if you're a small SME business owner or micro business owner, you might not have the time for it all. So I'm talking to my clients about go and find, connect, and get the phone call. By the way, my aim with LinkedIn is to get the conversation offline as quick as possible. I'm not looking to sell on LinkedIn. You don't try and type messages trying to sell. Get the conversation offline so you can talk to people and go meet with them. So I get marketing managers saying, well, I post stuff and I got 1,000 views. I go, that's great. How many conversations have you got?
Yeah.
Now, if someone likes my post, am I going to engage with them? It's probably very time consuming. If they comment on my post, I definitely want to engage with them because they've gone out of their way to respond. The chances are they're going to be interested. There's about a dozen different things you can do with LinkedIn. You can join groups. You've got to be careful around that strategy so it doesn't waste your time. You definitely want to be looking at who's viewed your profile. Another reason for wanting premium or sales now, because you can see the last 90 days of people who've got your profile. Think about it. If someone's viewed your profile, there's a high chance that they did it for a reason. There's always the people that go, oh, no, I was just surfing around and I don't really know what I'm doing. But I want the ones that go, actually, yes. People will look at your profile when they're searching for widgets without then contacting you. And you contact them and go, here's my message. I connect with them. Actually, my automation does this, but you can just do it manually. Hey, I noticed you viewed my profile the other day. I'm just wondering what interested you to do so and how I might be able to help. That's a magic gold dust saying.
Yeah, I'm glad that you've mentioned that, because I've often thought about that too. And I see all these people that have been viewing my profile, and you get, sometimes it's thousands of views every month. I'm kind of thinking, oh, how do you approach them without it being a little bit odd? Like, I can see that you've been stalking me on LinkedIn. Like, why are you checking that? Why are you looking at this profile? So I think it's just getting out there and just asking, right?
Challenge, yeah, it is. And the challenge you've got, because I'm conscious of people that might be listening to this, if you're new to LinkedIn, then it's easy manual. Without premium, you can see the last 5 people that have viewed. To do that, you've got to do that every day, because it would be criminal to miss someone that's viewed. I've got lots of business from that, and I've had lots of other clients get business because they've engaged with someone that's viewed their profile. Now, I did some research the other week. It says on average, your average CEO on LinkedIn has just under 1,000 contacts. So like you said, you're getting about 1,000 views a month. And when you start to get to hundreds or dozens, let alone thousands, it's difficult to keep in touch with. You need to upgrade to premium. You can see the last 90 days. But it's still a manual thing, because what I was doing, and I'm harping on about this automation because it's revolutionized in the last year, the results I'm getting from LinkedIn. It's taking away all the labor grunt and just leaving me to communicate with well-qualified inbound conversations. Daily, literally daily. It's doing stuff day in, day out that there's no way I've possibly got the time to do consistently. I can jump in and out of it. LinkedIn will still get you results, but I want to do it consistently. My automation, anyone that views the profile, it just goes connect with them and sends them the message. Hey, I noticed you viewed my profile. What I was doing manually was I was looking at those people, maybe like you, and I was going, I know them, I'm not bothered. Oh, they're interesting. I'll go connect and ask them why they viewed my profile. So I've sacrificed the time intensity. The automation actually connects with everybody.
Yeah, I think automation, it's the future, isn't it? We try to do it with any part of the marketing pipeline that we can automate, we want to do it. I don't see the point in investing loads of time in things that you don't need to be investing time in until it becomes a really solid, or not even hot lead, but at least a warm lead into something that you want to maybe generate into a conversation. I think, that's what everybody should be looking at, really.
Definitely. So if somebody's not in the position where they've got consistent marketing activities in their business, they're a smaller business and they're trying to grow stuff organically and on their own, then just get stuck into LinkedIn and do it manually. If you understand and you have marketing activities in your business, I would say jump in it mainstream with the project to looking at plugging in this automation at the back end. Because like you say, if someone goes on my website and clicks inquire for my franchise, I franchise my LinkedIn training business, they'll get a bunch of information drip fed them over a few days. That's all automated. So like you say, why wouldn't you look to automate? I've got to leverage my time. And this just leaves me to communicate, like you said, with people that have responded inbound. Because so if you're going to do it manually and you're a smaller business, then there are so many things with LinkedIn that you can do. You need to decide which ones are going to serve you best to get the best results for your time. And that's what I used to do with clients. I still do. At the end of a coaching program, we'll go, let's get clear on your plan as to what you're going to be delivering on. Because can you connect with 20 new people every day? And actually, you can send out 20 invites. How many people are actually going to accept? Because we've said there's a massive amount of people on LinkedIn now, virtually everybody. Doesn't mean they're active. But that said, I've seen a big spike in activity in the last couple of years. I had a client who was a radiologist, so highly academic, ran training courses just for academia. Said, I want to connect with radiologists in the UK. We did a search. Okay, there's a couple of thousand of them. I said, but don't hold your breath as to how many will respond and connect with you, because I'm guessing they're highly academic, they're busy, they're working in the NHS, they might not be using LinkedIn. Untrue. He was getting 2 or 3 accept a week, and he was getting people go to his website and sign up on courses. And that was just in the last few months, so it staggered me.
Yeah, I think it's great what you've just mentioned there, which is that one, that's about starting conversations, but also it's about figuring out the best use of your time. So even if before you get to a point where you're using some kind of automation, direct messaging is a fantastic strategy because, like you've mentioned, things have changed with posts and with articles, and there are ways to kind of get around the system and things like that, but it doesn't get as much organic reach as it used to. So if I put a post out there, you know, depending on whether it's got a video in it, if it's got an image, if it's got links, there's so many things that
don't links in anymore. Our automation.
Right, yeah. I mean, LinkedIn is penalizing you now for that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and it is. And people, I've got marketing managers. That's all they're doing, and they haven't realised that the reach has massively dropped. Your post gets blocked if you put a link in there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy.
Well, it's crazy and it's not. Of course, it makes sense for LinkedIn, right? Because they don't want to push people off their site. They're trying to keep as many people as possible within their community and doing business within LinkedIn. So I think it makes sense from that perspective. It's just potentially a little bit annoying for marketing managers who have relied on that strategy for a long period of time, which is where the difference with regards to direct messaging can get around that. So if, for example, I have gone from a strategy of posting something every day or every other day, you know, whether it's to a lead magnet or a download, or I'm trying to push people towards a blog post or whatever it might be, if my reach has gone from however many hundred down to a handful, it just makes much more sense to even do the direct messaging manually if you had to. It takes as much time to send a direct message to 5 different people every day than posting a post every day that doesn't get you any reach at all. At least it's a more personalized strategy to go direct, you know? So I think that's worth thinking about for someone who's in the early stages of, I guess, using a tool like LinkedIn.
Definitely. And I know I keep harping on about automation only because it allows me to do stuff I couldn't particularly do before. I used to be wary of groups because it could suck my time. But now, join groups where your prospects hang out. I can never understand why an accountant joins 5 accountancy groups. Join one for news, but then post some educational, valuable content in there. I'd suggest maybe once or twice a week. You don't want to bombard them. So I was working with a high-end procurement consultant, and he just posted an article, said, here's an article we've written on the potential effects of importing and the cost of products post-Brexit. And he wants to sell to CFOs of corporates. Somebody commented on it. He said, great, I'd love to understand more about what you got from it. Phone call and straight into sale. He said, I'd never have got to that person without LinkedIn. I would urge people to think wider because I've just bought a house in Spain. I needed to get to a Spanish lawyer and a Spanish mortgage broker. I searched on LinkedIn for my first tier connections in Spain. Got a bunch of them. Some of them I knew personally, they're expats. Hey guys, wondering if you can help me. Within one working day, I've got a recommendation for a lawyer and a mortgage broker. My nephew, who's now 21, last year, he's just finished uni. He got an internship in Hong Kong for 3 months from somebody he found on LinkedIn. He's now gone out to China to do a master's in economics last week. I get people go, yeah, right, it's too good to be true. No, it is good enough to be true. The challenge, and the other great thing is, I so want people to understand that although it's been around 15 years, it's gathered momentum now. You can do with it what you could never do with it before. You can do with it what it was never set up to do. Most people are on it, but they are not utilizing it. And it can be so simple. And the challenge with human nature is they go, yeah, right, too good to be true. No, we're at the edge. We're at the cutting edge of it. And the challenge is most people, I challenge anybody that's listening to this that your competitors are not embracing this in the way that you could easily, quickly, with a little bit of help. It has made clients of mine so much. It's made me so much. I'm trying to think of some of the other things. I went, you might argue it's not work, but it is. I went on holiday to Thailand. I fancied doing some workshops out there to make some money. So I searched my first tier connections. By the way, if people are new to this, that's the people we're directly connected with. Stacey, you and I are connected with first tier connections. I didn't have anybody on the island of Phuket, not just Thailand, but the one island. So I searched second tier, which is people that are connected to you, but not directly connected to me. So you and I are connected. I'm second tier connections to your connections. 133 second tier connections in the island of Phuket. I searched through the ones that were relevant, messaged them and said, hey, what about this? I got 3 conversations. I found them and got to them within half an hour.
Yeah, that's great.
I'll get off my soapbox.
Yeah, it's speechless at how amazing it is. Yeah, absolutely. That's really good. I'm glad that you've walked us through quite a few of those. The one thing that I've noticed as well where LinkedIn is really powerful is, well, from a personal branding perspective, just the way that it indexes and things like Google search. If you search my name in Google, it's either the first or second thing that pops up. And okay, I am fairly active on LinkedIn, but I've seen profiles that I've helped build out for clients before that are indexing within a few days, so it's something that Google loves too. So I think going back to what you were saying earlier about embedding some of those key phrases and search terms of what people are looking for, even for just that, for getting indexed in Google search, it's absolutely worth it,
Absolutely. You Google my name, I think it's first up is LinkedIn, and it is powerful. The other thing I say to people is I teach people how to be using video, because video sells, and it might just be a 90-second heads-up intro from you. It could be a video of stuff's manufactured, but my videos go straight up to YouTube. And YouTube's owned by Google, and it's the second biggest search engine to Google. Regardless, I'm now getting found on YouTube and on Google because of what I'm doing on LinkedIn. So again, it's another reason not to underestimate. I get so many people that go, I just haven't stopped to look at it. And that excites me because it's an advantage. All your clients listening to this can get an advantage sort of quickly.
So good. And videos is a good thing to mention too, because I actually have a good example of this where I was really nervous for a long time about doing video content, and just that I thought it was a lot of work, and I was like, I have to really, practice my messaging and my content and what I'm putting across. And I thought, you know what, instead of worrying about it so much, let's just put some stuff out there and just see how people interact with it. And so I think, one thing that's worth noting, I guess, with any social media platform, LinkedIn included, is that video must be uploaded natively, so directly to the platform, rather than, for example, sharing a YouTube link onto LinkedIn. We're going to get much more reach, obviously, if we're doing that. But the first time that I ever did it was probably maybe about a year ago, actually. It wasn't, I haven't been doing video content for that long. About a year ago, and one video, and it was just 60 seconds of me talking about something. It might have been about customer avatars or interacting with the right type of prospects and things like that. And off the back of that, I got a bunch of different messages, and somebody invited me to speak at an event in front of 150 of my ideal prospects, just off the back of posting one video, So, and I was like, oh my God, what have I been doing? Why have I not been doing this up until this point? And it's amazing how just conversations, video, I think, gets you out in front of people. They hear your voice, they see you, and it really helps with that relationship development. And I can't tell you how many conversations I've had recently where I speak to a client that I haven't spoken to in a while, and they're like, oh my God, I think you're everywhere at the moment. I'm seeing you here, I'm seeing you there, and they're not necessarily people that are actually even interacting with it. I don't see comments or likes or anything from them, but they're definitely seeing it and they're noticing it. So it's keeping you front of mind, isn't it? And I think it's really what social media is about. I really don't think there is opportunity to sell on social media, but I think a big part of it is staying front of mind, connecting with people, giving them the message and helping them to understand who you are and what your business is all about. And then, like you've mentioned, taking that conversation offline where possible to consolidate that sale. So yeah, I'm a big advocate.
Definitely. And that's the challenge is engaging with your existing contacts. What I guarantee people is, we'll get results, but I also guarantee you'll get results in a way I can't guarantee. I spoke at an event and someone in the audience took a picture and put it up on LinkedIn. Another guy who's connected with me, who I've known for years, commented on it, but he was obviously also connected to that other person. And I went back to him and said, hey, Chris, long time no speak. How's things? Do you want to chat? So part of it is obviously engaging with your growing numbers. Yes, I'm big into go and find more. I want managing directors of businesses, sales directors, whatever. I can go find more of those. And how do you continue to engage with your growing number of connections? Again, I talk about automation because I've got messages going out to my existing contacts every day. So I might search marketing managers in the UK. I can write a message, an engagement message, sales message, whatever you want to call it, and I can have that going out to 50 or 100 people of those every day. I've never been able to do that before. That is one challenge with LinkedIn manually. As you grow your connections, how do you stay engaged with them? Yeah. Yes, you can put posts up, which we've talked about, but less and less people now see those. So I think it's about getting clear. There's so much you can do, and we can talk video, YouTube, Pinterest, and I think it's, in a way, it's more confusing than it ever was. You know, because you work with your clients across a range of marketing strategies, a marketing plan. It's about getting clear on what you're going to do and what you can deliver on. And when I niche just into LinkedIn, I do a bit on Facebook and a bit elsewhere, but 90% is LinkedIn. And then I have to get clear within LinkedIn, what are the activities I'm going to niche into that are best use of my time and get best results.
Yeah, totally. I like it. One thing I was going to say on that as well is the reason LinkedIn plays such a big role, I think you'll hopefully agree with this, is something that we've done a lot with clients, which is building up that engagement level. Even if you are having these conversations with people and then directing them to other content, whether it is a blog post on your website or a download of a document or anything like that from your website, for example, is I am taking people obviously off LinkedIn or off whatever social media platform. But if you've got all your Google Analytics and all that kind of stuff set up on your website and retargeting, then there's ways for you to get back in front of that person in many other ways too. So I use it as almost a tool to shift people across. If I can get everybody to hit my website, then there's another way for me to remarket to them in a lot of different ways. So it's just part of that entire pipeline, and I think it's so important. And it really is such an easy way to actually build your audience and a niche audience. You know, it's not just, let's just connect with everybody that's possible. As you've mentioned, you can find them based on their jobs titles, their locations, even the companies they work for. There's so many different ways that you can target really, really specifically to making sure that you're getting connected to the people that you actually want to be doing business with, or the people that are most likely to actually purchase from you, and then actually filter that into some of your other marketing activities too. So really, really powerful stuff.
It is, and I do agree with you. When I said my aim is to get the conversation offline on the phone, that's because my sales process is to get to speak with people. If your sales process is to get them to a landing page or a lead magnet or whatever it is, absolutely same process. And that's where you're much better at that than I am. You've got the whole marketing steps and marketing process.
Well, every business is a bit different, and I guess it's just showing. The reason I talk about that is I just want people to realize that there's many different, objectives that you can have behind using LinkedIn. That it maybe is the beginning part of that platform, but if I can get my ideal prospect, the type of person that I want to do business with, across onto another platform, and then I'm able to continue a relationship with them, whether it is, if I can get on a call with them straight away, that's awesome. I'd love to do that. That's brilliant. But if I do need a little bit of a nurturing period and sort of retargeting them with some other type of marketing material, that is totally possible just off the back of utilizing LinkedIn like that. You know, it's really, really great.
Big time. And I'm just wary when I speak to business owners and I talk about the sales process, because I meet a lot of people who go, what? I haven't got one. But you're right. I sell this automated software as an affiliate. And so I get inquiries for that through LinkedIn. And I go, here's a demo video to have a look at. And there's a link there to click and buy. So actually, I'm not taking them offline to the phone. I'm taking them off LinkedIn
to check out a video. Yeah.
So yeah, we're talking the same thing. And you're right. It depends on your product, your service, and your sales process. But my aim is, to get the communication, the engagement.
Yeah, I think that's great. In terms of relationships, it's just really awesome. Well, thank you, Andy. I really appreciate everything you've given, all the insight you've given me and our audience. I think it's been fantastic. Tell us a little bit more about how we can find you. How can we connect with you? I guess you're obviously going to say LinkedIn, but we'll connect to all of your links in the show notes. But explain to us the best way to get in contact.
Yeah, probably an easy way is obviously LinkedIn. Connect with me anyway. My name's Andy Gwynn. You spell it G-W-Y for Yankee, double N for November. There's no E on the end. That's the common way, according to my father. and engage with me, because I've got content up there. You'll see other stuff, so it's good to be connected anyway. And I have 12,000 connections. So I'm sure I have some connections that might be of value to whoever's connecting with me at some level. So I'm always happy to engage. And Stacey, you and I are doing some work together. So any of your audience and contacts, I'm happy to help in any way I can. It's interesting because I had someone again this week, earlier today. What's your email address? Through LinkedIn. And I went, well, it's the one that's on my contact info. But what I know with human nature is people don't stop to look. So people can email me at andy@andygwynn.co.uk. All my contact details are under the contact info on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's probably the best starting point. If people are interested in anything that we've spoken on, I'm happy to obviously to speak with and engage. There's multiple reasons for benefits for probably connecting with me. I say to people, if there's anyone I can introduce you to, give me a reason why they should connect with you. Don't say Richard Branson. Don't say, I don't know, the president at Shell. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's worth being connected with me because of my connections that become your second tier connections. Anyone that connects with me immediately grows their second tier connections by 12,000. And the reality is, if you're using this to go and find people, so whether it's expats in Thailand, whether it's lawyers in Spain, whether it's whether it's work experience in Hong Kong, whether it's the national training manager of a UK PLC, the more connections you have, the more second-tier connections you have. And so I meet, just to finish with, I meet people who go, I only connect with people I know. I might not connect with a university student in Kuala Lumpur with 12 connections, but I'll pretty much connect with anyone, not just because whether they're relevant to me or not, but who they're connected with allows me to find those people through the search. That's gold dust.
Yeah, so that is really good advice. Thanks to cap us off there, Andy. I love that. That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We will obviously link to the guide, the 9-point guide that you mentioned in the show notes as well. And thank you again for being here today and sharing all of your wisdom. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome. It's great to catch up, Stacey. And it's great to be part of it because I know I get excited about marketing, and you are covering a whole range of marketing, and I know how passionate you are about it. So it's been great sharing it. Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. See you soon. I loved that conversation with Andy. Here are my top 3 attention grabbers from this episode. Attention grabber number 1, direct message those that have viewed my profile. So if you go to your notifications tab on LinkedIn, you can see a little pop-up that says viewed my profile. If you click on that, you can see absolutely everybody that's viewed your profile. A disclaimer there is if you do have the premium edition of LinkedIn. If you don't, you'll just see the last 5 people, but that's a really good place to start. Popping them a message and just saying, hi, I noticed you viewed my profile. I was wondering if there's something that I can help you with. I think that was a really great tip. I loved it. When I went away after recording that episode, I had a look at who's viewing my profile. And I noticed that there was an average of 248 people per week that were looking at my LinkedIn profile. So who are these people and why are they looking at my profile? What are they interested in? I really need to take Andy's advice and start conversations with these people because who knows what that could turn into. Attention grabber number 2, seek to understand. This trails on a little bit from connecting with people that are viewing your profile, but anybody that you're connecting with on LinkedIn, seek to understand. Stop pitching. Interact with the right people. Take the time to build relationships. Seek to understand what they need so that you can help to solve that problem and start meaningful relationships on LinkedIn. Attention grabber number 3. LinkedIn is just part of the marketing mix. So start the conversations on LinkedIn, but move the conversations elsewhere to do the conversions of your sale. So we all know cross-channel marketing is really, really important. And I love that Andy mentioned that LinkedIn is just a part of that marketing mix. It can be very, very powerful for generating leads, but ensure that you've got a whole pipeline worked out to help support converting sales. So thanks very much for tuning into this episode. Check out the show notes for the link to Andy's profile on LinkedIn. I would love it if you popped him a message and let him know what you took away from this episode. And I look forward to you tuning in next week.
You've just been listening to the Vault podcast with Stacey Kehoe. If you've enjoyed the show, she'd really appreciate you leaving a review on iTunes. And don't forget to head over to www.thevault.global for more free content that will help you build an effective marketing strategy.